Lagos, the nation's commercial capital. This is the News at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Kayode Okekiolu.
Tonight, Senate confirms all 7 nominees of the president to fill vacant positions in the cabinet, says team of lawyers set to defend their embattled colleague, Shekarau, in the United Kingdom. The House of Representatives vows to probe subsidy policy between 2017 and 2021, reintroduces the controversial Water Resources Bill amid opposition by some lawmakers. The Federal Executive Council approves 23 billion naira for 6 power projects, deplores continued vandalism of power infrastructure in parts of the country.
And on business news tonight, the Nigerian Exchange Limited and the Bank of Industry signed MOU to deepen capital market reach for inclusive growth.
On sports news tonight, Anthony Joshua says he's hungry to regain the world heavyweight title as he meets Alexander Usyk face-to-face in London ahead of their fight in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia on August the 20th.
And from the nation's capital, Magistrate Court in Abuja sentences a lady, Amira Safiyanu, to 12 months psychiatric care for raising fake kidnap alarm on Twitter.
And in international news from London, Sweden and Finland are set to join NATO after existing member Turkey lifted their objections to their membership.
The president's new ministerial nominees have scaled the final hurdle on their way to joining the president's cabinet, as the Senate today screened and confirmed all 7 whose names were sent last week by President Muhammadu Buhari for confirmation as ministers designate. They are Henry Ikechukwu Iko from Abia State, Umana Okonumana from Akwa Ibom, and Eku Mankama Joseph Nkama from Ebonyi. Others are Goodluck Opia from Imo State, Umar Ibrahim El-Yakub from Kano, Ademola Adewale Adegorioye from Ondo, and Udi Odum from Rivers State. Our correspondent, Linda Akibe, tells us more.
The ministerial nominees, accompanied by friends and well-wishers, making their way into the Senate chamber.
We have the first.
They are to be screened by these lawmakers for ministerial positions after President Buhari forwarded their names to the Senate for confirmation.
With our tradition of screening ministerial nominees.
In what has been a long-standing practice, President Buhari did not attach the specific ministry each nominee, if confirmed, will be leading, a situation which federal lawmakers have criticized in the past.
For screening before us.
The first nominee, Ikechukwu Iko from Abia State, answers questions on finding solutions to unemployment in the country.
I will advise the federal government to ensure that they establish refinery in the local community where they exploit all this crude oil. If they do that and begin to introduce modular refineries in those various communities, particularly Niger Delta community, the issue of employment will be checked.
After a lawmaker draws the attention of his colleagues to Mr. Iko's participation in the compulsory National Youth Service Corps, the Deputy Senate President offers an explanation.
Mr. President, the law is very, very clear. And there's nowhere, Mr. President, in those requirements where the requirement for the possession of a certificate of discharge from NYC and or an exemption is required.
Nominees speak on their experiences in improving revenue generation and offer solutions to the ongoing impasse between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU.
Understanding that our mandate was to attract foreign direct investments into Nigeria by improving the business environment. We took a number of concrete steps to make life easy for investors who will be coming into Nigeria. For example, in the past, it could take months or even weeks before somebody who applied for a license could get approval for a license. We set a definite timeline and said it would only take 7 days.
My advice would be that government and ASU will have to come to a compromise. And through this, we'll be able to solve this issue of ASU strike once and for all. And I want to also appeal. Yes, I know the importance of budgetary provision. So I want to appeal to the Senate that when the budget is being made for the coming year, that there will be adequate provision for education sector so that some of these needs that the ASU members are asking for, ASU Union, will be able to be met.
A former member of the House of Representatives, Mr. Goodluck Opia, was asked by the chamber to take a bow in accordance with its tradition of extending such privilege to past members of a National Assembly. Done with the screening, the Senate confirms all 7 ministerial nominees.
Congratulations to all of them, and of course, congratulations to the Senate for starting and completing this task.
Linda Akibe, Channels Television News.
In the meantime, the Senate will be sending a delegation to visit Senator Ike Ekweremadu and his wife Beatrice, who are in detention over a case of alleged organ harvesting in the United Kingdom. According to the Senate President Ahmed Lawan, the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs has also been mandated to engage with the British High Commission in Nigeria over the issue. The delegation is expected to leave for the UK on Friday.
In the closed session was briefed on the arrest of our colleague, distinguished Senator Ike Ekweremadu, the former Deputy President of the Senate in London. The High Commission has also been able to provide some consular services that included the engagement of lawyers who will defend our colleague. We have also mandated our Committee on Foreign Affairs, the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs, to engage with the British High Commission here in Nigeria to find more details of this case. There will be a delegation to London to see the distinguished Senator Ike Ekweremadu and his wife. A delegation from the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs of the Senate will leave in the next 2 days to London for that purpose.
It's at the Green Chamber where the House of Representatives has reintroduced the controversial Water Resources Bill. The chairman of the Committee on Water Resources, Honorable Sadasoli, says wide consultations have been made for a better version of the bill and assures that if at any point indications suggest that it will negatively affect any section of the country, he will voluntarily withdraw the bill. Details of the new bill are not yet available. However, the old bill sought to bring all water resources, surface and underground, and the banks of the water sources under the control of the federal government. Our correspondent, Terry Comey, reports.
Mr. Speaker, following the listing of the controversial National Water Resources Bill, which many feared could affect the unity of the country, a lawmaker raised as a point of order of privilege, drawing the attention of the House to the controversy caused by the bill when it was reintroduced last year.
Some of us, Mr. Speaker, wonder why this issue is still being represented on the floor of the House, because some of us are not comfortable and in support of this bill in the first instance, Mr. Speaker.
The Speaker offers an explanation.
And he told me that the issues that were raised then, the issues of controversy that were raised then, have been addressed by all the governors. And apparently this new bill that all the governors of the Federation, both South and North, participated on this bill, and I want to take him by his word.
We are duly elected with a mandate in this House to represent the interests of our people. So we are also coming from the premise of that constitutional power and role that we have. Whatever the governors might have agreed upon might not be acceptable to us. It is we that have those powers as enshrined in the Constitution to enact legislation that will be binding on this country.
The Water Resources Bill, which sought to bring all water resources under the control of the federal government, was first introduced in the 8th Assembly but was rejected by the lawmakers. It was then reintroduced in the 9th Assembly last year but received backlash from a broad section of Nigerians and legislators who feared that it could endanger the unity of the country. The chairman of the Committee on Water Resources, in whose name the bill is listed, as well as the majority leader, appealed to lawmakers and the bill scales first reading.
All the attorney generals of the states,
of the different states and the federation,
commented on the bill, and the federation commented on the bill before they could address some of the issues that were raised on the floor. Let me assure my colleagues on my honor, I will not stand here to see a particular section of this country is shortchanged by a legislation of this country. If that happens, Mr. Speaker, I will withdraw the bill in the interest of this country.
I just want to plead with honorable members, no matter what position or disposition you may have for or against this bill, we wait until we come to the second reading and we debate it. Let us not preempt it, and by so doing, trying to also play with our very costly legislative time.
Having been read for the first time, the bill would now be debated when it is scheduled for second reading, and then the details would be clearer. Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
In the meantime, the House has resolved to set up an ad hoc committee to investigate the petroleum products subsidy regime from 2017 to 2021. The resolution of the House comes after a motion by Honorable Sergio Sogun stating that component costs in the petroleum product subsidy value chain claimed by the NNPC is highly overbloated, while the transfer pump price per litre used by the NNPC in relation to PPMC is underquoted. The committee is to report back to the House within 8 weeks for further legislative action. Into party politics, the leadership of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has inaugurated its campaign council for the July 16th governorship election in Osun State. The council, which is made up of 128 members, has Governor Doye Diri of Bayelsa State as its chairman, along with other governors of the PDP. The party says victory in Osun is critical.
The acting national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Mr. Omar, presides over the inauguration of the party's campaign council ahead of the July 16th governorship election in Osun State. The council, which has all PDP governors as members, is chaired by the Bayelsa State governor, who is presented here by the governor of Taraba State. Having lost the just concluded Ekiti governorship election, the PDP charges the campaign council to do all it can to ensure the party wins the July 16th Osun State governorship election.
On behalf of the chairman of our great party, who I am here ably representing, Dr. Yochio Ayu, I hereby inaugurate you, the team that I expect to bring back victory for us. Yours will be to go over there to win Osun for us, because Osun is key to our presidential election.
The PDP was a keen contestant in the 2018 Osun State governorship election, but lost to the ruling All Progressives Congress. However, the party says it's doing things differently this time around.
All we need to do as a party is to block the loopholes for rigging, to block the fears that was used. I want to truly plead that will truly take the work to the grassroots. Votes come from the units. Votes come from the wards. Votes come collated from the local governments. The votes are not in Abuja. So we must return to the real base where we ought to campaign. And we hope that this campaign council will take this assignment very seriously.
This inauguration signals the party's readiness for the July 16th governorship election in the state. However, the decision to choose who will govern the state for the next 4 years will ultimately be that of the voters.
In part two, after the break, former governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose, renews call for the South to produce the nation's president in 2023. That's in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, live on Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Senate confirms all 7 nominees of the president to fill vacant positions in his cabinet, says team of lawyers set to defend their embattled colleague Ike Kwemadu in the UK. The House of Representatives vows to probe subsidy policy between 2017 and 2021, reintroduces the controversial Water Resources Bill amid opposition by some lawmakers. The Federal Executive Council approves 23 billion naira for 6 power projects, deplores continued vandalism of power infrastructure in parts of the country. And Sweden and Finland set to join NATO after existing member Turkey lifted objections to their membership. The senator representing Kano Central Senatorial District, Ibrahim Shekarau, has resigned his membership of the All Progressives Congress APC and joined the new Nigeria People's Party, NNPP. The lawmaker, in a defection letter read during plenary by the Senate President, informed his colleagues that his decision to quit the ruling party was due to marginalization and lack of internal democracy in the Kano chapter of the APC. Senator Shekarau says all efforts to resolve the long crisis in the last 2 years, including the involvement of the national headquarters of the APC, failed due to what he called the non-cooperation of the governor and the party leadership in the state. And elsewhere, the former governor of Ekiti State, Mr. Ayodele Fayose, has thrown his weight behind calls for a southern presidency come 2023. Mr. Fayose, in a tweet, says the incumbent president is from the north, which implies that the next president must come from the south. He goes on to say, the PDP Constitution provides for a rotational presidency. Section 3C provides that the party shall pursue its aims and objectives by adhering to the policy of the rotation and zoning of party and public elective offices in pursuance of the principle of equity, justice, and fairness. The former PDP presidential aspirant's tweet is a fallout of the emergence of Mr. Atiku Abubakar as the party's flag bearer for the 2023 presidential election, a development that appears to have polarized the main opposition party. The Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, says he would like to see a constitutional amendment that will make it a duty for the citizen to vote. The minister gave the suggestion at the 6th Babatunde Raji Fashola BR of Gabfest held in Lagos, while reacting to the perceived increase in the registration for permanent voter card and what should motivate the citizens to get involved in voting their representatives. Our correspondent, Dari Dowu, has more.
It's a hybrid event. The panelists, 6 of them, garnered from various sectors, opened the conversation on the qualities of the next set of leaders Nigerians should look out for. They speak extensively on governance and also provide constructive insight into nation building and the 2023 elections.
For me, very passionately, gender equality, because I understand the role women play. We have a dynamic role when it comes to development and the economic stability of the society.
There are lots of things that I'm voting for. It's definitely not personality. I'm not voting for personality, and that's what I need everybody to first get out of. You need to identify with issues and vote for those issues.
A vote is a stake. It is an investment. A vote is your negotiating power. So I am voting for myself.
Convener, Minister of Works and Housing Babatunde Fashola, touched several areas of governance, especially the powers assigned to each tier of government and officers. He says many seem to be fixated only on who becomes the president, and that may be a problem.
All the presidents that we have elected, and one thread that binds all of them almost together, and I say almost, and you will see why soon, is that we embrace them with so much love on arrival. But the honeymoon is so short-lived, and nobody can repair that broken marriage until we disengage finally.
He also reacted to the turnout of young people getting their PVC and what should determine their choice of candidate.
Don't forget that we are trying to recruit people who are going to serve us. We are the employers. We are not trying to employ people. So do you employ a staff in anger? Just think about it. We're trying to make choices about our children's lives and our own lives. Are we going to make those decisions in anger? I think not. So I think that my suggestion and advice to everybody who listens and everybody who can influence others is to send a message to people that you can't make this decision in anger, because anger is not a strategy. I would like to see a constitutional amendment that makes it a duty of the citizen to vote, because it makes it our duty to pay our taxes, to declare our income. And if you haven't read Section 24 of the Constitution, please go and read it when you leave here.
The annual event, conceived as part of efforts targeted at creating a platform for the active involvement of the youth in Nigeria's future, is an activity lined up to celebrate the 59th birthday of the minister. Dari Ido, Channels Television News.
Well, Terry Kumi is here with more stories on the news at 10 from our Abuja studio. Hello, Terry.
Hello, Kaede. Love the tie. The federal government is apparently unhappy over the continued vandalism of power infrastructure, limiting its capacity to deliver sufficient electricity. The Minister of Power, Abubakar Aliyu, told State House correspondents after the Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, that in the case of the Northeast, Northwest, and North Central, power infrastructure often brought down by vandals and restored are often vandalized again. The Power Minister explained that the situation has compelled the government to seek alternative but less efficient ways to supply electricity to crisis-prone areas such as Maiduguri. Meanwhile, the Federal Executive Council approved 23 billion naira for 6 power projects to boost power supply across the country.
Issue of vandalism. We have vandalism on our lines, vandalism on our stations, substations. We have those ones that affect us indirectly, directly affect us, but the infrastructure is not directly our own, like vandalism around oil pipelines, which affect the gas, and once you don't get gas to power, you don't get the megawatts. Once there is no power coming from the generators, you know what that means. So we are working round the clock to ensure that we nip everything in the bud. Through our thinking out of the box, we're able to take electricity to Maiduguri. And people are enjoying it. Yes, we are facing a lot of security challenges in this country. We have challenges around our installations in Kaduna. As I'm talking to you now, we have been battling with one of our lines that snapped towards Shiroro. We have 2 lines coming from there. One, we cannot even go there to inspect and see what is wrong because of the security challenges.
A Twitter user, Amira Safianu, has pleaded guilty to the sole charge of misleading the police after she published a tweet on her official handle on June the 14th this year, raising a false alarm over her alleged kidnap. Upon her arraignment by the police force in the Federal Capital Territory before the presiding magistrate, Chukwemeka Nweke, she was charged under Section 140 of the Penal Code, to which she pleaded guilty. However, at the opening of the hearing, both the prosecuting and defense counsels prayed that the defendant be handed a non-custodial sentence owing to a medical report which suggests that the defendant is mentally unstable. The magistrate subsequently granted the prayers. Amira had tweeted at 1:16 p.m. on June the 14th that she and 16 others, including a pregnant woman and 2 children, were abducted at gunpoint by people in police uniforms from different parts of Abuja. The tweet went viral with over 41,000 retweets and users calling on the security agencies to rescue her and others said to be abducted. However, 6 days after another tweet was put out on the same handle apologizing for misleading the public, which was said to be her delusions and negative thinking. According to her, she intentionally took herself out of the house to the locations and starved herself for 4 days. The Nigerian Army is repositioning its operations to address the nation's contemporary security challenges. This is according to the Chief of Policy and Plans, Major General Anthony Omozoje. During a news conference in Abuja ahead of this year's Army Day celebration, Major General Omozoje explains that the strategy will be a key part of the conversation during the celebration, which will be held in Owerri, the Imo State capital.
The week-long Nigerian Army Day celebration is therefore an important annual event in the calendar of the Nigerian Army due to its significance to national security, peace, and unity of our country. It also offers the Nigerian Army an opportunity to take stock, assess its performance, interface with the public, and set goals for the succeeding year with a view to maintaining a highly professional army, well-trained, combat-ready, and effectively positioned to perform its constitutional roles. The celebration is scheduled to hold from the 1st to the 6th of July 2022, and it is intended to celebrate the Nigerian Army's achievements and also showcase the Army's operational activities as well as its transformational strides in innovation, research and development, civil military cooperation, and technological advancement.
Still ahead on News at 10, the Nigerian Exchange Limited and Bank of Industry sign MOU to deepen capital market reach for inclusive growth. That's on Business News. Stay with us.
A 3-story building has collapsed in PortHarcourt, the River State capital. Though no life was lost, property worth millions of naira were said to have been destroyed as a part of the building serving as residential apartments and shops caved in on Bender Street at the old PortHarcourt Township axis. Residents of the area said the building is one of the many dilapidated structures at the old township area, which they say is a ticking time bomb. And to company news, First Exploration and Petroleum Limited says it is poised to keep up with the drive for excellence in its operations in the energy sector. The company made the commitment at a seminar to proffer solutions to the challenges in Nigeria and Africa's gas resources in commemoration of its 10th anniversary.
Harnessing Africa's economic prosperity through its vast gas resources comes into focus as independent oil exploration and production firm First E&P Limited brings together experts in the energy and financial sectors to a strategic leadership session in Lagos.
I think also a lot of policy inconsistencies.
This seminar seeks to unlock energy access in Nigeria and Africa and seeks to prefer solutions around the demand and supply gap given the abundant gas resources.
The derivatives from oil and gas, especially gas, are so significant that if we can develop the industry and then create an industry, it'll help, even the poor woman in the community who's using firewood for cooking. through LPG, which is a cleaner fuel, and so on. So there's so many impacts on the society, in the community, health impacts that will be averted if we develop our gas resources, apart from the huge growth in terms of our economy.
First E&P Limited says it aspires to be the leading indigenous integrated execution vehicle focused on developing and operating a portfolio of upstream oil and gas sector.
First E&P is committed to gas. We see our business over the next 5-10 years will be 60-70% gas rather than oil. But when you say how can gas be successful for Nigeria, gas, you know, when you look at the industry, when you look at manufacturing, when you look at social needs, gas is an enabler for all of those things. So when you look at the impact it would have, it's about raising the standards of living, it's about enabling industry. So its multiple impacts are great. And I think Nigeria has the gas, it has huge gas resources, so it's how we deploy that for the growth of this country on all its dimensions.
The expectations of these energy stakeholders is if properly utilized, the gas value chain can make a lot of difference in the economy of Nigeria and the African continent.
With the increasing functionalities of mobile phones, manufacturers are exploring new ways to help users better connect with themselves and maximize their potentials. And that is why Tecno Mobile Nigeria has launched the latest Camon 19 series mobile phones in Lagos. According to the brand communications manager, Sheon Badmus, the mobile phone series is a one-stop store for content producers and the everyday Nigerian.
This is not your regular fashion show, but an exhibition of class, elegance and style, as Tecno presents tech meets fashion. The event is to launch its new masterpiece, which comes with a triple camera feature, a multi-language translator of up to 70 languages, and an improved artificial intelligence, which when activated, block spam messages. For content producers, the Camon 19 is a one-stop store for video editing and many other media production features. According to officials of Tecno, the mobile phone is an appliance that will change the narrative of storytelling for media personalities.
The Camon 19 series is a line of smartphones that we love to call your every moment portrait master. And this is because, whatever light conditions, whether daytime or nighttime, you're able to capture amazing portrait images of yourself, of people around you. And yeah, the Camon series has always been that line of smartphones that is focused on camera innovation.
The Tecno Camon 19 comes in 3 variants. The Camon 19 Pro with 256 gigabytes of memory and 8 gig RAM, the Camon 19 Pro 5G with 256 gigabyte memory and 8 gig RAM, and the basic Camon 19 with 128 gigabyte memory.
Tecno as a brand, we're very customer centric. We look out for the needs and aspirations of our customers so we can continue to provide them innovative products and cutting-edge technology. It is no longer about just exchanging text messages, no longer about just communication. We want to be able to capture clear images and videos in order for us to be able to share this moment with our loved ones. And that is what we have done here with the Camon 19 series.
With the brand new product out in the market and a content competition underway, Tecno, the makers of Camon 19, are highly expectant that content creators will get to do more from the comfort of their devices.
More company news. One of Nigeria's leading non-interest commercial financial institutions, Taj Bank, has recorded a profit before tax of 1.6 billion naira in 2021. That's up from the 296 million naira it recorded in 2020. The bank, which was licensed in 2019, also achieved a 73 billion naira growth in deposits in 2021. At the bank's 3rd annual general meeting in Abuja, its chairman, Mr. Tanko Gwama, explains that the strides recorded by the bank are further boost for it to continue with its innovative posture.
It's the 3rd annual general meeting of Taj Bank, a fast-growing non-interest bank that has resolved to change the status quo in the nation's banking sector through its innovative products and financing module. After the opening speeches, the financial statement of the bank is read and the report of the independent auditors is adopted.
The chairman's statement, along with the financial report and accounts, be taken as read.
Outside the hall, officials of the bank speak on how the bank fared in the 2021 financial year, a feat that is likely to earn it the status of a national bank in the days ahead.
We take our customers as business partners. We don't squeeze your neck so that we can get money. We are interested in your business surviving. We are interested in your business growing. We want you to prosper. So Taj Bank has a different business approach to its customers.
What we have done about financial inclusion is to deploy our agency banking platform. And we did that. Right now we have more than 6,000 agents across the north. That's in our regions of operation, northwest and northeast.
Besides earning a 1.6 billion naira profit before tax, a 73 billion naira bank deposit and the establishment of more branches, the bank is deploying technology to improve its services to its millions of customers.
When we set up the bank, we made significant investments in IT, and we continue to make significant investments in IT. What are those investments? First of all, we launched our mobile app, which we call My Taj. It's very, very successful in the marketplace. But now what we have done is we are launching a digital bank.
Customers and shareholders speak on the significance of the giant strides recorded by the bank within 3 years of its operation in Nigeria.
We strongly believe that, Taj would, double or at least say almost double the performance of, 2022. And yes, we are actually very happy, with the performance so far.
The bank promises to provide innovative financing and good corporate services as it climbs the ladder in the banking sector.
Well, let's bring you more business stories. Here's Teniola Shaboali.
Banking so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thanks a lot, Kaide. Welcome to Business News. The Nigerian Exchange Limited and Bank of Industry have signed a memorandum of understanding to deepen capital markets reach in the country. The two organizations will collaborate to promote retail participation in listings, enhance information flow to stakeholders, and support market development. According to the BOI CEO, Mr. Olukaide Piton, the MOU will encourage companies to approach the exchange for initial public listing, which will serve as an actual window for divestment and access to wider funding options. The federal government says it has increased the tax on tobacco products such as shisha and cigarettes from 20 to 30%. The measure took effect on June the 1st. According to the Minister of State for Health, Mr. Olonimbe Mamora, the tax seeks to discourage the consumption of tobacco products as it reduces the risk of diseases. Mr. Mamora further says the ministry has commenced screening and issuance of operational licenses to qualified major tobacco businesses in the country in a bid to profile and monitor tobacco industry activities nationwide. Credit rating agency Fitch Ratings has upgraded Fidelity Bank PLC's long-term issuer default rating from B negative to B. In a statement, Fitch says it also upgraded the bank's national long-term rating to A from BBB+. Fitch credits the upgrade to the bank's improving business profile, resilient financial metrics, as well as increased credit worthiness. Shareholders of food and beverage company Nestle Nigeria PLC are set to get a dividend payout of 25 naira 50 kobo per ordinary share. Chairman of Nestle Nigeria PLC announced this at the 53rd annual general meeting at Ilupeju, Lagos. He says the company will continue to unlock the power of food to enhance quality of life for generations to come.
I want to ban left and right.
Nestle Nigeria PLC, a food manufacturing and marketing company with over 60-year presence in Nigeria, is holding its 53rd annual general meeting at the office headquarters in Ilupeju, Lagos.
Nestle, good food, good life.
Management team of Nestle Nigeria PLC are here to present the 2021 financial report and also declare dividend for shareholders.
I hereby move that the total dividend of 40,029,140,726 naira, representing a total dividend of 50 naira and 50 kobo per share on the issued share capital of 792,656,252, made up of interim dividend of 25 naira per share and the proposed final dividend of 25 naira 50 kobo per share.
The performance indicator shows 23% of turnover increase and 2% profit in 2021. While some are attending virtually, the shareholders physically present applaud the company for the significant growth recorded and continuous innovation skills.
The yearly growth back to back is very impressive, given the economy in the country. I think Nestle deserve an accolade.
Then voting commences for the re-election of directors and audit committee. Despite the economic downturn, the company says it will stop at nothing in meeting the needs of its customers.
We capitalize on our global level to see how we can procure better and keeping always in mind what the consumer needs in Nigeria, affordability and accessibility as well.
Nestle has been here for quite some time, and we always try to source a lot of our materials locally and to develop the farmers so they can give us the right quality. So that has helped us to be able to use a lot of local materials. We add a lot of value to them and produce these products that you love.
Nestle Nigeria PLC is ready to push the boundaries with food and hopefully turn up a much better outlook for 2022.
Let's check in on the stock market now. John Mekwa has the details.
Thank you so much. Welcome to the stock market report. Well, from a marginal gain at intraday to a mild loss, almost unchanged at the close of trade, and the best still has a hold on the NGX. The all-share index is still trying to regain that 59,000 level, and looking at the top trades for today, they were mostly stocks from the financial services, while mutual benefit led that pack. The banks were the majority. In fact, the first top 10 sales for today came from the banking sector, and that sector remained in the red at the close of trade. Investor sentiments were mixed, which led to a 20 kobo loss in GTCO. UBA also lost 5 kobo, while others like FBN Holding and Zenith gained. FBN Holding is gaining for a second consecutive day. Well, summary is that it looks like the market is still trying to find a balance between profit taking and bargain hunting, and we'll see where that will lead the market tomorrow. That's a stock market report. I'm John Mekwa.
Now let's check out the closing numbers for other major equities around the world. Business News Tonight is back to Coyote.
Banking, so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Well, thank you, Tenny. On the international scene, U.S. singer R. Kelly has been sentenced to 30 years in prison for using his celebrity status to sexually abuse children and women. And in other news, NATO leaders have formally invited Finland and Sweden to join the alliance a day after Turkey dropped its objections to their membership. For more on NATO's decision and other international news, here's Simon Pusey in Around the World in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. President Biden has announced that the United States is reinforcing NATO's land, sea and air forces in Europe. Meanwhile, Russia has described NATO's expansion as destabilizing. The Finnish foreign minister told reporters the breakthrough in the talks with Turkey over Finland and Sweden came over a coffee break.
After 2 hours, we felt that it's maybe not moving at all. And then we had a coffee break, and as always during the coffee break, great ideas come up, and then in the end, towards the end of the meeting, it was easier to come to the conclusion.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has shared CCTV footage of the moment a Kremenchuk shopping mall was hit by a Russian missile strike and said the attack was done deliberately. Ukraine said at least 18 people were killed in the missile strike. Zelensky said more than 1,000 people were inside when the missiles struck. Moscow said it had struck a nearby arms depot and falsely claimed that the mall was empty. Zelensky said in his evening video address they wanted to kill as many people as possible. Due to the strike, he has called on the UN to recognize Russia as a terrorist state. A former top aide to the White House Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows, has painted a devastating picture against former President Donald Trump at the latest congressional hearing into the storming of the Capitol.
The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel.
It includes an allegation, which Trump denies, that he tried to grab the steering wheel of the car he was traveling in and wrestled with a Secret Service officer in an attempt to divert his motorcade to the Capitol, where his supporters were gathering.
Let's turn now.
Ms. Hutchinson recounted that upon learning that rioters were calling for Vice President Mike Pence to be hanged, Mr. Trump expressed approval. Hundreds of Indians have attended the cremation of a Hindu man who was killed in India's Rajasthan state, allegedly by 2 Muslim men. The victim, a tailor named Kanhaiya Lal, was killed in Udaipur district by 2 Muslim men who filmed the act and posted it online. They claimed the act was in retaliation for the victim's support for controversial remarks made by a politician on the Prophet Muhammad. The government has suspended internet services and banned large gatherings. Police have arrested the 2 men who had identified themselves in the video. 2 Mexican nationals have been charged in connection with the tragic deaths of dozens of migrants found in a truck in Texas the day before. The human smuggling attempt left over 50 people dead after they were trapped inside the sweltering tractor-trailer truck in San Antonio in Texas. The 2 defendants, who were arrested and charged with possessing firearms while in the United States illegally, according to court documents and US authorities. There have been bomb blasts in 4 separate places in Ethiopia's northern city of Bahir Dar, police have said, indicating a further deterioration of security in Amhara, the country's 2nd largest region. Tensions have escalated in the region after authorities launched what they called a law enforcement operation that has seen the arrest of thousands of individuals in the region. There have been a number of anti-government protests in recent days following a massacre of ethnic Amharas in neighbouring Oromia region. More than 250 village farmers were killed in the incident. Canadian police have shot dead 2 men and 6 officers were wounded during a gunfight at a bank in British Columbia. Nearby homes were evacuated after the discovery of a possible explosive device. Emergency response team members arrived on the scene at the Bank of Montreal on Vancouver Island, near the border with the US state of Washington. And finally, Brazil's Felipe Toledo and Hawaii's reigning world and Olympic champion Carissa Moore have won the 8th round of the 2022 World Surf League Championship. On home soil at Saquarema, a beach town about 100 kilometers east of Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, Toledo scored a perfect 10 against fellow Brazilian Samuel Pupo to claim his 4th Rio Pro title.
Has something to work with here. Big opening snap.
The result guarantees Moore and Toledo one of the 5 places for the end of season finals event at Lower Trestles in Southern California in September. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.
Many thanks, Simon. Anthony Joshua says he's hungry to regain the world heavyweight title as the dethroned champion sets his sights on knocking out Alexander Usyk in their rematch in Saudi Arabia. Joshua has a chance to reclaim his WBA, IBF and WBO titles when he faces Usyk again on August the 20th, with boxing pundits claiming he must use his physical superiority to disrupt his opponent's rhythm this time around. US Open champion Emma Raducanu has crashed out of Wimbledon, losing her 2nd round match against Caroline Garcia 6-3, 6-3 to the disappointment of the British home crowd earlier today. The 10th seed, who was troubled by a side strain in the run-up to the Grand Slam, was broken 5 times in the match on centre court, while her French opponent ranked 55 in the world. Also bonded out in the second round is 3rd seed and French Open runner-up Casper Ruud, going down in 4 sets to Hugo Humbert of France. Ruud playing or beaten to become the first Norwegian player since 1962 to reach the last 32 at Wimbledon, lost 3-6, 6-2, 7-5, 6-4. Defending champion Novak Djokovic has reached the Wimbledon 3rd round for the 16th time with a straight sets win over Australia's Thanasi Kokkinakis earlier today. Djokovic, who is bidding to equal Pete Sampras as a 7-time champion at the All England club, eased past his 79th ranked opponent 6-1, 6-4, 6-2. That's sports news. I'm Ayo Tunde Balu.
Thanks a lot, Ayo. And the main news again. The Senate today confirmed all 7 nominees of the president to fill vacant position in the cabinet. The lawmakers also disclosed that a team of lawyers are set to defend their embattled colleague, Ike Kormadu, in the United Kingdom. And that's the news at 10, everyone. Thank you for watching. I'm Kayode Okikulu. Good night.